No people has a right to enslave a whole society, because every human being shares a common origin, common problems, and a common ultimate fate. The conspiracy in life is not only between us, but most decidedly between our faith and death. When the devil attacks a society, it takes various seductive forms, such forms like multidimensional poverty, insecurity, and absolute disregard to rules and regulations that organize human existence. Without rules and order, human beings are rendered to the state of animals. The problems we share among us in Nigeria are greater than the problems that tears us apart, such as ethnicism, bigotry, nepotism, and religious fanaticism. All evil in its form is absolutely simple when compared with the acute deviousness of good. So when in 1978, the people of Onitsha decided to throw a tantrum that revolutionized existence in the whole Anambra state, nobody questioned the blood that soaked the land or the safety of life involved in such bucolic revolution. The orchestration was blind and total in its characteristics. The infamous Oshebay was a pristine revolution on its own, thrown by suppressed citizens that decided that enough is enough. A serene revolution ordained by traumatic offensive catastrophe caused by few individuals who took up arms against the larger society and refused to allow an organized society to exist. These groups of criminals carved their names in annals of history by killing and obliterating their betters. Their names still ran like echoes of gunshots in the areas of their operations. Such infamous names like Little Charlie, Azubiko Tondo, Kakinobileda, Sunday Kwangu, Amoichi Buomado, Ike Kodo, Sunday Kilonkwa, and Bankwa leaders of Olive House. The revolution was orchestrated by both traders, students, and all artisans in Onitsha. It began like the witch hunt in Massachusetts in 18th century. The mob was headed by inconsequential criminals, because it takes a criminal to know a criminal. They roamed the city, huge massive human bodies that defied death nor fear. Houses of influential criminals were razed down by fire, and some of them caught in the house fitted with tires and burnt in the middle of the road to serve as a deterrent to other criminals. The ill-gotten wealth composed of offices and shops were looted and razed down with fire. The cry of witchcraft, such as happened in Massachusetts, deteriorated into the point of revenge, where people took revenge on their innocent enemies who were not involved in any criminal activities. For a whole week, the mob sanitized the town, looting, burning, and annihilating formerly feared criminals who nobody can go near to their houses or even speak about. The case of Banco Adidas was a desultory one, because nobody could prefer evidence that Banco was a substantial criminal. He was popular for lifting people's containers from the wharf with forged documents, and that brought the rage of the mob on him. On the day his house, called Olive House at Iboku Street, was attacked, he was obsessed with his wife. The mob surrendered his house and started throwing explosive bottle fuel into the house. The Molotov cocktail explosive rolled up to the house, exploding with incendiary fire all over the house. There were more than 10,000 mobs that took up all the streets, screaming hysterically and trying to gain entrance into the two-story building. Then Banco Adidas started shooting into the crowd. He took good stance at his second floor with a bottle of whiskey and large wrap of marijuana. As he aimed without scruples into the angry mob, one student of Our Lady's secondary school was shot dead, and several other people wounded in the skirmish. The blood of the student pooled along the road, and that further enraged the mob. Sound of cocktail Molotov exploding all over the house. The double-barrel gun used by Banco spreading its seeds among the throng, maiming other people as the war raged between him and the maddening mob. They almost got Banco's wife before the police arrived with a powerful team to disband the mob. The policemen took Banco Adidas and his wife into their custody, and with canister of tear gas, disbanded the mob. The mob took to the road and arrived at the Fiesta Club owned by Amechi Buomado. There were many prostitutes residing in the hotel. They looted the hotel, took some of the prostitutes, and tore them naked in front of the public. The mean ones among the mobs raped the prostitutes in their rooms and looted all their properties. The criminal Amaechi had caught a hint of the development and had left town before they arrived. All the warehouses packed to full with liquor were broken into. The mobs drank the alcohols, which further accentuated their activities. They burned down the one-story house and killed some of the prostitutes. 2 vehicles belonging to the hotel were also touched. As the inferno blazed up, the police arrived to disband the mob. Kaki Nobileta held his domain at Uzodinma Street, a 2-story building owned by Interland Limited. The mob arrived in their great numbers, subdued the minor security, and gained entrance into the house. The criminal was in fake currency and other criminalities. He was very rich and acquired properties inside the house. They looted his house, burnt a new vehicle found in front of the house, and killed one of the security men. All the black carbons used in fake currency criminology was brought outside and burnt under an old tall oak tree in front of the house. The man had deserted before the mob arrived, so he was not caught. The police prevented the mob from setting the house on fire. Besides, it was a private property belonging to a recognized legal businessman, Interland Transport Limited. Every town has its own distinctive rhythm, life force that springs from the people and the land. There is not much difference to human mind when it comes to deviousness. The warring of rabbity existence in Onitsha offered a serious hope of freedom. Being a one-horse town where the massive main market held high, every individual in Onitsha is so besotted to business of trading or supplying, darkening a strenuous competition for existence and everyday dalliance in the Onitsha society. All the security outfits such as police and market vigilantes aligned to the same petty megalomaniac competition to surpass one another. Even the judiciary was intent in corruption and favoritism. Law, which is the power of the state to control the existing societal organization that permits civilization, brutalized and reduced to the highest bidder. The lawyers betrayed the law in Onitsha, and the judges distributed it to the highest bidder, where it can be twisted off shape to serve only the rich. The citadel of hope for common man commercialized by judges and betrayed by courts. Boss Oshebay therefore became the jungle justice that could correct the wanton decayance and issue satisfactory punitive measure to the criminals who had monetized the police as well as the judiciary. You could hardly distinguish the criminals from the law enforcement agencies because they bore identical idiosyncrasies, same twins that celebrated each other in obliteration of the society they were saddled to preserve. One pugnacious riot leader, a riffraff and yet to graduate criminal, led the mob on the day they visited Azubike Otondo. He was one of the most sought-after hoodlums in Onitsha, a blood-sucking demon who had killed and maimed uncountable traders in Onitsha. His name alone exuded horror and terror among the people and was only whispered among the people. Otondo was involved in every criminal activities in and around Onitsha State, Anambra State. All the security agents were his aficionados and worshipped him like a demigod. The mob branded his house and began to throw the molotov cocktail explosive. Every man in his lifetime makes many mistakes. That is human and unavoidable. The main trick is never to make the mistake that destroys you. Inside the house, Azubike Otondo had loaded his pistol, hoping to disband the mob with few shots. He had wanted to travel out of town when the breeze of the riot reached his domain. But point of pride and the confidence in his charms had discouraged him from running. Now, faced with reality, he opened his back door to escape, firing few shots to scare the scanty mob behind the house. He wounded 2 men, but he was caught by the mob. They stripped him of his starched white brocade cloths and took him to the frontage, where he was pummeled to smithereens before a tire was hung on his neck. In the middle of the road, They poured fuel on him and set him on fire. His whiskey burnt out low growl could be heard as the fire turned him into a black suit. The sweetish odor of human flesh and rubber smell of tire rose like black smokes that got congealed with the air. The hunter had become the hunted and was smelling like an abattoir. Little Charlie had the face of a gargoyle, the ugliest human being in existence. His lynx-like face had the countenance of a hopeless drug addict. His main life had been blighted by criminality and stultified by blood. He was thin, fragile looking, with an ascetic air about him. He had a melancholy look, and his face was always itched with sorrow. A taciturn dunce with dark grimy dark eyes that appeared like the pit of hell. As small and fragile as he looked, he could kill a man with his bare hands. His jurisprudence covered the whole Onitsha North, where people paid him for protection. When a man got missing, you only have to call his number and he will tell you how much was needed to set the man free. He burglarized stores that come short of the protection fees and carried away everything in such store. The security agents knew him but received a share from him. He had more than 5 exquisite cars snatched from people, which he turned into his own use. On the day of the riot, he was cruising down Oka Road when the mob blocked his car. They ordered him out, but they started shooting to scare the enraged throng. He shot 2 or more people before they overwhelmed him and snatched him out of the car. He was blooded with planks and stones and later burnt inside his car. As his name connoted, Sunday Kilongwa was a club man who was popular in all the existing nightclubs in Onitsha. He was also a fence who bought stolen goods from criminals. Fences were not hot shots in Anambra because they rented guns and other weapons to the armed robbers. When Bolingo nightclub was running with a Jamaican disco junkie who was so efficient and offered best latest music in town, Sunday Kilongwa was regarded as the unofficial chairman of that club. He was swarthy in complexion, tall and athletic. The ferocity in his dark, narrow face, his brutal, massive lower jaw, gave him the quality of a face in a horrible nightmare. He was a lush and a chain smoker. One unfortunate day at Bolingo nightclub, Sunday requested for a dance from a beautiful fair lady. The lady was with her boyfriend, who wasn't aware of the person who was calling his girlfriend. So the unlucky man reneged and began a masochimo characteristics, which landed him into trouble. Sunday Kilongwa ordered his boys to bring the man to him. They dragged the man outside, stripped him of his clothes, and used a burning cigarette to blister all his stomach. The scream of the man and his lady friend attracted everybody around the club. They threw the man inside Sunday's car boot and dragged the lady inside the car as they left the club. There were security guards in Bolingo club, but nobody raised a finger to help the young man. The mob met Sunday in his exquisite bungalow hidden under the bed by his beautiful wife. His wife was stripped bare, raped by some conscienceless boys among the mobs. Sunday was beaten us almost to death before they hung tire on his naked body and burnt him. The consequence of this subtle revolution was not to be overemphasized. The town of Onitsha regained normalcy. There was a total tranquility, and the external traders who had diverted their businesses elsewhere began to come back to Onitsha. Nobody has the monopoly of enslaving others in any society. When pushed to the wall, people exhibit a wild reaction that even the insane couldn't contemplate. The Nigerian society could be at a precipice of such catastrophe. The burning hunger, the absolute neglection by the government on security of life and property could stimulate an identical behavior